What if the person you called your best friend was the same person destroying your home? What if the secret your husband was keeping was not a small lie, but a whole other life? And what if the night it all came out was the same night you were celebrating 10 years of marriage? Stay with me, because this story happened, and by the time it ends, you will never look at the people around you the same way again. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Emmanuel, and this is the place where we tell real African stories. Stories of love, betrayal, family, and the hard lessons that life teaches us. Today's story comes from Accra, Ghana. It involves two families who lived side by side for almost 8 years. They shared food, they shared celebrations, they prayed together, their children played together. But underneath all of that closeness, there was a secret buried so deep that when it finally came out, it did not just break a marriage, it broke everything. This story is called Two Families, One Secret, and the Night Everything Broke. Get comfortable. This is going to take a while, and I promise you, it is worth every minute. The two families. Let us start at the beginning, because every big story has a quiet beginning, a time when nobody suspected anything, when life looked normal and good. In a neighborhood called East Legon, one of the nicer parts of Accra, there were two houses sitting next to each other on the same street. The house on the left belonged to the Mensah family. The house on the right belonged to the Boateng family. And for 8 years, these two families were not just neighbors. They were practically one family. Let me introduce you to them properly. Kwame Mensah was 41 years old, a tall, quiet man with a kind face and a calm voice. He worked as a civil engineer, the kind of man who built bridges and roads for a living. People respected him. His workers liked him. His bosses trusted him. His wife was called Abena Mensah, 38 years old, a secondary school teacher who taught English literature. She was the kind of woman who remembered every student's name, every birthday, every small detail. People always said, Abena has a good heart. And it was true. Together, Kwame and Abena had 3 children. The eldest was a boy named Kofi, 17 years old, already thinking about university. Then a daughter, Akosua, who was 13, and the youngest was a boy called Little Kojo, 7 years old. Always laughing, always running around the yard. They were a good family, a strong family. They had built their home together from nothing, and after 10 years of marriage, they still ate dinner together every evening. That alone, in today's world, means something. Now, the family on the right, the Boatengs. Nana Boateng was 43 years old, a businessman. He sold building materials, cement, iron rods, roofing sheets, and he had done very well for himself. He drove a big car, he dressed well, he talked loud and laughed louder. He was the kind of man who walked into a room and everybody noticed. His wife was called Ama Boateng, 36 years old, beautiful in a quiet way. She was a pharmacist, ran a small pharmacy near the main road. She was soft-spoken and gentle, the kind of woman who smiled even when she was in pain. They had 2 children, a daughter named Serwa, 15 years old, and a younger son named Kweku, 10 years old. On the outside, the Boateng family also looked fine. A successful husband, a hard-working wife, good children, a nice house. But appearances, my friend, can be the biggest liars in the world. Now, the friendship between these two families started simply, the way most neighborhood friendships start. Abena was the first to walk over with a plate of food when the Boatengs moved in. She brought contomere stew and plantain, knocked on the door, smiled and said, "Welcome to the street." Ama nearly cried. She had just moved from Kumasi. She didn't know anyone. She was lonely. And here was this woman, this stranger, bringing food with a smile. From that day, the two women became close, very close. They cooked together on weekends. They went to church together on Sundays. They called each other at night just to talk. Abena helped Amma with school runs when Nana was away on business. Amma stayed with Abena's children whenever Abena had parent-teacher meetings that ran late. Their husbands, too, became friendly. Kwame and Nana would sit outside on Saturday evenings, drinking Sobolo or Malta, talking about football and politics and business. Their children grew up like cousins. Kofi and Serwa studied together. Akosua and Kweku fought and played. Little Kojo followed everyone around like a puppy. It was, by every measure, a beautiful picture. And that is the thing about beautiful pictures. Sometimes, the frame is hiding a crack in the wall. The cracks begin. The first sign that something was wrong came about 2 years before everything fell apart. Abena noticed it, but she told herself she was imagining things. She was good at that, telling herself she was imagining things. Many of us are. It started small. Kwame began coming home later than usual. He had always been a punctual man, home by 6:30 every evening, but now it was 8, 9, sometimes 10 o'clock. He always had an explanation, a project deadline, a site inspection, a meeting with a contractor that ran longer than expected, and his explanations were always believable, always detailed. Kwame was a calm, steady man, not the type you easily suspected. So Abena listened, nodded, warmed his food, and said nothing. But she felt something. Deep in her chest, the way a woman knows things before she knows them, a heaviness, a question she was afraid to ask. Then came the phone. Kwame had always been open with his phone. He never hid it. He left it on the dining table, on the kitchen counter, on the bathroom shelf. Abena had never felt the need to touch it. That is what trust looks like. You don't need to check because you don't doubt. But one evening, she walked into their bedroom and Kwame quickly turned his phone over, face down. It was a small movement, maybe 1 second. But Abena saw it, and her heart felt it like a cold breeze. She didn't say anything. She just walked to the wardrobe, took out her nightgown, went to the bathroom, stood under the shower for a long time, and cried quietly so nobody would hear her. She didn't even know exactly why she was crying. She didn't have proof of anything, but something inside her already knew that something was broken. She just didn't know what it was yet, or who had broken it. On the other side of the fence, things were also not well in the Boateng house, but in a different way. Nana Boateng had a temper. It was not something he showed in public. In public, Nana was all smiles and big gestures, but behind closed doors, he was a difficult man, controlling, critical. He questioned Amma about money, even though she earned her own. He complained about her cooking. He made her feel small in ways that don't leave marks on the body, but leave deep marks on the soul. Amma had spent years managing him, smiling through it, telling herself, every marriage has problems. This is just how he is. He loves me in his own way. But lately, Nana had been different. He was coming home happy, too happy, buying Amma flowers for no reason, bringing home gifts, being unusually kind. And Amma, who had learned to read her husband the way you read weather, felt something was off. When a difficult man suddenly becomes sweet, it is not always a good sign. Sometimes it means guilt. Sometimes it means he is keeping a secret. And sometimes it means both. Abena and Amma talked almost every day, but there are some things women do not say out loud, not even to their closest friend. Not because they don't want to, but because saying it out loud makes it real. And sometimes you are not ready for it to be real. So Abena said nothing about Kwame's late nights, and Amma said nothing about Nana's sudden sweetness. They talked about their children, about food, about church, and about other people's problems, and quietly, each of them carried her own fear alone. This is what I want you to understand. The secret had not been revealed yet, but it was already doing damage. Silence, my friend, is not always peace. Sometimes silence is just pain wearing a mask. The anniversary party. Now we come to the evening that changed everything. Kwame and Abena's 10th wedding anniversary. 10 years, a big deal in any marriage, but especially in a Ghanaian home where family and community watch closely. 10 years means you survived the hard years. It means you built something. Abena had planned a small party, not a big event, just close family and friends, about 30 people. She rented a canopy for the front yard. She cooked for 2 days, jollof rice, fried chicken, kelewele, banku, and tilapia. She even baked a cake herself with the children, a 3-layer vanilla cake with white icing that little Kojo kept touching with his finger. She wore a deep burgundy dress that Kwame had bought her for her last birthday. She did her hair. She smiled all day, but inside, something felt heavy, like she was celebrating something she was afraid of losing. Kwame that evening was warm and present. He held her hand. He gave a small speech in front of the guests that made people clap and some women wipe their eyes. He said, "10 years ago, God gave me a woman I did not deserve, and every day I try to be worthy of her." The guests cheered. Abena smiled. And somewhere in that yard, Ama Boateng clapped too, while something dark moved quietly behind her eyes. The party was joyful. Music played. Children ran around. The men gathered by the gate talking. The women sat together laughing. It was around 9 o'clock in the evening. The food was done. The cake had been cut, and people were beginning to think about going home when it happened. Ama got up to use the bathroom inside Abena's house. She knew the house well. She had been in it hundreds of times. She walked down the corridor, and then she stopped. Kwame's phone was on the table near the corridor. He had left it there when he went to greet a family member. The screen was lit up. There was a message notification visible on the screen. She didn't even need to unlock it. She could see the preview. The name on the message was saved simply as "My Love." And the message preview said, "I keep thinking about last night. When are you coming back to me?" Ama stood there. She read it twice. 3 times. Her legs felt weak. Not because it was Kwame having an affair. That alone would have been terrible enough. But because she recognized the writing style, the words, the way the sentences were formed. She recognized it because she had read messages written exactly like that before. Late at night, when she went through her husband's phone while he slept. The "My Love" sending messages to Kwame Mensah was Nana Boateng. The night everything broke. Let me pause here for a moment, because I want you to understand the full weight of what Ama Boateng had just discovered. Her husband, Nana Boateng, was not just having an affair. He was having an affair with their neighbor, her best friend's husband. The man whose wife had welcomed them to this street with a plate of food. The man whose children played with her children. The man who sat outside every Saturday with her husband drinking Malta and talking about football. And Kwame Mensah, Abena's husband, the quiet, steady, respectful man who had just stood in front of 30 people and said his wife was a gift from God, was involved with another man, with Nana, the husband of his wife's best friend. The betrayal was not just a line crossing. It was a full collapse of everything. Friendship, marriage, trust, family, all of it. Ama's hands were shaking. She set the phone down carefully, exactly as she had found it. She walked to the bathroom. She sat on the closed toilet seat, and for 5 minutes she did not move. She just breathed, in and out, in and out. Then she got up, washed her face with cold water, looked at herself in the mirror for a long time, and walked back out to the party. She sat down next to Abena, picked up her cup of sobolo, and smiled. Nobody noticed a thing. But Amma was not going to stay quiet. She was a gentle woman, yes, but she was not weak. She waited. She waited until most of the guests had left, until only the two families remained, helping to pack up and clean. Nana was carrying chairs. Abena's sister was washing dishes inside. The children had all gone to bed. Both sets of children were sleeping in Abena's children's rooms, the way they always did at late family gatherings. Kwame was wrapping leftover food, and Amma walked into the middle of the yard, that same yard where an hour ago people had been celebrating love, and she said in a very calm voice, "I need everyone to stop what they are doing. I have something to say." Something in her voice, the stillness of it, the weight, made everyone stop immediately. Abena looked at her. Kwame looked at her. Nana went very, very still. Amma said, "Kwame, I saw your phone tonight. I saw the message from my husband. I know what is happening between the two of you. And I think Abena deserves to know right now. Tonight, in this yard." Silence. The kind of silence that is louder than any noise. Abena turned slowly to look at her husband, and Kwame Mensah, the man who had just given a speech about being worthy of his wife, could not look her in the eye. What happened in the next hour was not easy to describe, but I will try. Nana first tried to deny it. He said Amma was lying. He said she was confused. He raised his voice, because that was his first instinct when cornered. Get loud. But Abena was not looking at Nana. She was looking at Kwame. And Kwame's face said everything his mouth could not. He did not deny it. He sat down on a chair in the middle of the yard, his anniversary yard, with the leftover cake still on the table, and he put his face in his hands. And that was his confession. Abena did not scream. She did not throw things. She did not collapse. She stood very straight. She took a long, slow breath, and then she said in a voice so quiet it was almost frightening, "How long?" Kwame looked up. His eyes were wet. He said, 2 years. Abena nodded slowly, like she was calculating something. Then she said, "Get out of my house, both of you, get out." She was talking to Kwame, and she was talking to Nana. Then she turned around, walked inside, went to her bedroom, locked the door, and they did not hear a sound from her the rest of the night. Not a cry, not a word. And somehow, that silence was the most heartbreaking thing of all. Amma was left standing in the yard alone. Her husband had walked out. Her best friend had locked herself away. The children were asleep inside, innocent and unknowing. She sat down in a chair. She looked up at the sky, and she finally allowed herself to cry, not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. Tears running down her face in the dark, because Amma had suspected her husband for a while. She had seen the signs. She had felt the distance, but she had never imagined, not in her most fearful moments, that it would be this. Not this person, not this house, not the woman who brought her food on the day she arrived on this street. The party lights were still on. The music speaker was still running softly. Somewhere it was playing an old high-life song, the kind of song your parents danced to at their own celebrations, and Amma sat in the middle of all of it, alone, and thought, this is what betrayal looks like. It doesn't always come from strangers. Most of the time it comes wearing the face of someone you trusted. The morning after. The morning came, as mornings always do, quietly, without asking whether you are ready for it. The children woke up. They found Amma asleep in a chair in the yard. She had not moved all night. Little Kojo shook her arm gently and said, "Auntie Amma, why are you sleeping outside?" She opened her eyes, looked at the boy's innocent face, and forced a smile. "I was just watching the stars, my dear." Go inside and wash your face." She did not want the children to know yet. They were children. They did not need to carry adult pain. Abena's bedroom door was still locked. Amma knocked softly. No answer. She slid a glass of water under the door, the gap was wide enough, and whispered, "I'm here if you need me." Abena's voice came back, quiet and flat. "Thank you." That was all. Just 2 words, but Amma understood. She went home, made breakfast for the children, and sent them off to school as if everything was normal. She sat at her kitchen table afterward and stared at the empty chair where her husband usually sat. He had not come back home. She didn't know whether to be relieved or devastated. She was both. In the days that followed, the street changed. Nobody talked about what happened, not openly. But everybody who was at that party knew, and it spread the way these things always do, in whispers and phone calls and raised eyebrows at church. Kwame moved to a hotel. He called Abena every day. She did not pick up for the first week. When she finally answered, she said only one thing: "I need time. Don't come here." He respected it. He stayed away. He sent money for the children's needs through his eldest son, Kofi, who was old enough to handle it but too young to understand the full reason why. Nana went to his mother's house. He called Amma multiple times. She picked up on the 3rd day. Not because she was ready to forgive, but because they had children together and she was a practical woman. She said, "I will not discuss the marriage now, but you will see your children every week. Bring money for the house. Don't bring drama. That is all I'm saying for now." Nana cried on the phone. He said he was sorry. He said he didn't know how it happened. He said he was confused. Amma said nothing. She let him cry. Then she said, "Goodbye, Nana," and hung up. The hardest part, in the weeks that followed, was not the anger. Anger actually gives you energy. It gives you something to hold on to. The hardest part was the grief. Abena grieved 2 things at the same time. She grieved her marriage, the 10 years she had given to a man who was keeping a secret she never imagined. She replayed every moment, every late night, every turned phone, every time she told herself she was imagining things, and she asked herself the question that all betrayed people ask: was any of it real? Did he ever truly love me? Or was I just a cover? And she also grieved her friendship, because Amma had not done anything wrong. Amma had actually been the one to reveal the truth. But every time Abena thought of Amma, she also thought of Nana. And every time she thought of Nana, the pain came again like a wave. She could not separate the friendship from the wound. Not yet. And so the 2 women, who had been like sisters for 8 years, did not speak for 3 months. The truth that nobody saw coming. Now I have to tell you something that makes this story even more complicated, and I ask you to keep an open mind because life is rarely simple. About 6 weeks after the anniversary night, Kwame requested a meeting with Abena. He sent a message through her sister because she was still not ready to see him alone. She agreed, at a restaurant in public with her sister present. He came. He looked thinner. His eyes were tired. He sat down across from her and looked at his hands for a long time before he spoke. And then he told her the thing he had never told anyone. He said, "Abena, I need you to know that I love you. I have always loved you. What I had with Nana, I am not going to pretend it was nothing because that would be another lie. But I am also not going to pretend that I fully understood what was happening to me. I have been confused since I was young, since before I even knew you. I buried it. I tried to be the man everyone expected me to be. I thought if I built a good life, if I was a good husband, if I worked hard, it would go away. It did not go away. And I am sorry, not just for the affair. I am sorry for not being brave enough to be honest. I am sorry for choosing silence over your truth. You deserved honesty. You deserved the choice to decide for yourself. I took that choice from you, and I will carry that for the rest of my life." Abina listened to all of it without interrupting. When he finished, she sat quietly for almost a full minute. Then she said, "I have 2 questions. Did you ever stop loving me?" He said, "Never." She said, "Did our children mean something real to you, or were they also part of the cover?" He said, "They are my life. They are the most real thing I have. Whatever I was confused about, my children were never part of any confusion." She nodded. She picked up her handbag. She stood up. And then she said, "I don't hate you, Kwame. I think I understand more than I want to. But understanding is not the same as staying. I need to think about what I want my life to look like, and I need you to give me that space without pressure." She walked out. Her sister followed her. And Kwame sat at that table alone, staring at an untouched cup of tea for a very long time. On Nana's side, the truth was different, and in some ways harder to sympathize with. Nana had not come to this situation the same way Kwame had. Nana had not been a quietly confused man trying to suppress something he didn't understand. Nana, from all accounts, had known exactly what he was doing. He had pursued Kwame. He had been the one to initiate. He had used the closeness of their families, the shared dinners, the Saturday evenings, the trust their wives had in both of them, as cover. He had taken something sacred, the friendship between 2 women, and used it as a shield. That was harder to explain, harder to excuse. When Amma finally sat down with a counselor, something she did on her own, without telling anyone, she said, "I can handle the truth about who my husband is. I can handle that. What I cannot handle is that he looked at my friendship with Abina and saw an opportunity. He used our closeness as a hiding place. That is what I cannot forgive." And the counselor wrote it down and underlined it 3 times. The long road, months passed, the kind of months that are full of small, hard moments, school runs and grocery shopping and paying bills and pretending to be fine when the children asked questions you didn't have answers to. Abena slowly began to see a counselor too, a woman from her church who was also a trained therapist. She cried in every session for the first month. Then she started to talk. Then she started to think. Then she started slowly to rebuild. She went back to teaching. Her students noticed she seemed different, quieter, deeper, but she was present. She marked their books. She explained metaphors. She read to them from novels about love and loss and redemption. And sometimes, standing in front of her class, she found pieces of herself again in the stories she was teaching. Kofi, her eldest, eventually had to be told the truth, an age-appropriate version of it. He took it hard. He was 17, old enough to understand betrayal, young enough to still idolize his father. He didn't speak to Kwame for 2 months. Then one Sunday, Kwame showed up at the gate. Kofi came outside. They stood in silence. Then Kofi said, "Do you still love us?" Kwame said, "With everything I have." Kofi said, "Then don't disappear." And he went back inside. And that was the beginning of Kwame and his children finding a new kind of relationship. Not the old one, which was built on a version of Kwame that wasn't fully true. A new one, built on what was real. Amma made a decision 6 months after the anniversary night. She filed for divorce. It was not a dramatic decision. She did not announce it. She did not post anything. She simply called a lawyer, started the process, and told Nana quietly and without anger. Nana begged her to reconsider. He came with his mother, with his uncle, with a pastor. He said he would change. He said he was sick and he needed help. He said the children needed their father. Amma listened to everyone. She was respectful. She offered water. She nodded. And then she said, "You are not a bad person, Nana, but you are not my person. You never fully were." and I deserve to know what it feels like to be fully chosen. My children will still have their father, but I cannot continue to be your wife. I am sorry." It was the first time in their entire marriage that Amma had apologized for choosing herself, and it was the last apology she made for it. As for Abena and Kwame, their road was longer and more complicated. Abena did not file for divorce immediately. She took a full year. A year of counseling, of prayer, of long conversations with herself in the dark, of watching her children, of asking God what the right thing was. At the end of that year, she came to a decision that surprised even people who knew her well. She said, "I am not ready to throw away 10 years of my life, but I am also not ready to go back to what we were. If Kwame is willing to be fully honest, not just with me, but with himself, then I am willing to try something new. Not the old marriage, a new one, built on truth, whatever that truth looks like. But if there is ever another lie, one more lie, I will walk and I will never look back." Kwame agreed. He went into therapy. He began the hard work of understanding himself, not to fix something broken, but to be honest about who he truly was and what a life of full honesty could look like. It was not easy. It was not quick. There were days when Abena cried in the kitchen and Kwame didn't know how to help. There were days when Kwame sat in his therapist's office and could not find words, but they stayed. And they worked. And slowly, something new began to grow in the wreckage of the old. And what about the friendship? Abena and Amma? It took almost a full year before they spoke properly again. It was Amma who made the first move. She sent a text that said, "I miss you. I know this is complicated. I know my husband is part of your pain, but I want you to know that I never knew. And I am sorry that my house brought damage into yours. If you are ever ready to sit with me again, I will be here." Abena read that message 4 times. She put the phone down. She picked it up again. She put it down. She went to do dishes, came back. Then she typed back, "Sunday, come for tea, just you." Amma replied with one word, "I'll be there." They sat together that Sunday afternoon, just the two of them, on Abena's veranda, with tea and chin-chin, and a big silence between them that slowly, carefully became a conversation. They cried, they talked, and they said things they had never said before, about their marriages, about their fears, about the years they had each quietly suffered alone while pretending everything was fine. They didn't fix everything that afternoon. You don't fix 8 years of friendship in one Sunday. But they started, and sometimes starting is everything. Where they are now, it has now been 3 years since the anniversary night that changed everything. Amma Boateng is divorced. She lives in the same house. She runs her pharmacy. She has been promoted to open a second branch. Her children are doing well. Serwa is now in university, studying pharmacy like her mother. Kweku plays football every Saturday with his friends. Nana sees the children every 2 weeks, and while it is not perfect, it is manageable. Amma says she is not happy every day, but she is peaceful, and she has learned that peace is better than happiness you have to perform. Kwame and Abena are still together. It is a different marriage from the one they had before. More honest, more careful, more intentional. Their children are all doing well. Kofi got into university, engineering, like his father. Akosua is in her final year of secondary school. Little Kojo is now 10 and still always laughing. Kwame sees a therapist every month. Abena sees hers every 2 weeks. They go together once a month. They have hard conversations now, conversations they never had in the first 10 years. And while the road is still long, they are walking it together, with their eyes open. The 2 houses on the street still stand next to each other. The children still play sometimes. Abena and Amma still have tea on some Sundays, not every week, but regularly enough. The closeness is different now. It has more space in it. more honesty, fewer performances. Maybe that makes it more real than it ever was before. Marriage counselors...
It is not too late. Whether your marriage is struggling or you suspect something is wrong, or you know something is wrong, but you have been too afraid to move, it is not too late. It is not too late to have an honest conversation. It is not too late to see a counselor. It is not too late to make a different choice. It is not too late to review. And if the relationship cannot be saved, it is not too late to save yourself. You are not your marriage. You are not your mistake. You are not your partner's secret. You are not the worst night you ever had. You are still here. You wake up today. That means there is still a story to write. Write it with truth. Write it with courage. And write it with love. First for yourself, then the people around you. That is how healing begins. Not with a grand gesture, not with a perfect plan, just with one honest step forward. Thank you for staying with me through this story. I know it was long. I know it was heavy, but the things that matters in life are really light. If this story touched you, if it said something you needed to hear, share it with someone who needed it too. You never know whose marriage, whose friendship, whose life your simple share might reach. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and drop your honest question or answer in the comment section. I read every single one. Tell me what part of this story moved you the most. I will see you in the next story. Until then, take care of your heart, take care of your home, and always choose the truth. Thank you.